Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
This is episode 3, Buzzed Bunny. Welcome to Bourbon Sauced, where we discuss topics and get sauced on bourbon in the process. We will try and keep it PG, but no promises, as we will try to stay true to ourselves and be as unfiltered and blunt as possible. So grab your favorite bourbon and join us for the show.
So we did a little different this episode, and our followers on Instagram cast votes for this episode on which bourbons we should drink. The votes are in, and it looks like Dan will be drinking Wild Turkey Rare Breed, while I get to sip on some Buffalo Trace. So a big shout out to our followers on Instagram for getting involved and casting your votes. Today's topic, we will discuss the ridiculousness that surrounds the Easter Bunny from a parent's perspective. So hold on to your seats. Professor Galahad, would you be so kind as to tell us the history of the Easter Bunny?
Why, yes. Originating from the German Lutherans, Easter Hare, which is weird because we have the Easter Bunny, originally played the role of a judge evaluating whether children were good or disobedient in behavior at the start of the season Eastertide, much like the fat man from Christmas, Santa Claus. So, knowing that, what is your best memory of the Easter Bunny growing up? Do you have any?
Yeah. So, I mean, best memory from the Easter Bunny. It was interesting because I knew the Easter Bunny was a thing,
But it wasn't. You knew the Easter Bunny. I was gonna die.
I
know him,
right? I knew of the Easter Bunny, but it wasn't such a big thing in our family, right? Now, granted, you would wake up on Easter morning and there would be baskets with candy and stuff like that. It wasn't as extravagant as Christmas. There wasn't a big uproar about it kind of thing. You just woke up to a basket of candy and treats. So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So,
everybody likes candy.
I guess the best memory of Easter Bunny would just be, waking up, going downstairs with my brother and sister to find 3 Easter baskets sitting on the entertainment center, and they were tailored to us, right? So as we got older, we liked different things, and you would see that in the baskets. So it was pretty cool to see.
So by your 10th birthday, you got the double dong dildo?
You would not be wrong, sir. But actually, you would be wrong, because if anybody had the double dong dildo, that would be someone else. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
You know who you are if you're listening in. All right, so I digress. Anyways,
so you never actually saw. You guys didn't do like the typical go ahead sit on the Easter Bunny's lap like kids do for Santa Claus. You guys didn't do that.
I don't ever recall me ever meeting the Easter Bunny. Like, I think I saw him one time at school, and I was just like, what is that? It's a giant person in a rabbit suit. Like, to me, I'm thinking, okay, that's Harvey the Rabbit. I know who that is. That's not the Easter Bunny. That's Harvey the Rabbit, all right? I know who that is.
It was like Peter Rabbit,
No, Harvey the Rabbit. Come on now.
Yeah.
Harvey the Rabbit is real, okay?
Yeah,
I do recall my sister having photos, and there is photos somewhere my mom has of my sister with the Easter Bunny.
Did you guys color eggs?
Yes. What about you? What about you? Best memory of Easter Bunny? Not you out here.
So I was probably, I don't know, I was probably like 5 years old or something. And we were in, I think at the time, Great Northern Mall, which is in North Olmsted, Ohio. And my mom made us wait in this ridiculous line so I could take a picture with this Easter Bunny.
Not to interrupt, but is that mall still open?
I think it is.
I'm just curious because a lot of these malls closed.
And some of them have closed, but I'm pretty sure that one was, and they had like it all decorated with like the white picket fence and the Easter decor everywhere with like the colored eggs and I don't know, weird stuff everywhere. But I get up there and just like sitting on this Easter Bunny's lap, kind of like, do I like talk to this dude? No, I say like, is there anything? Does he talk? like this would be weird because it's a talking bunny. But I just remember all he did was sat there. He didn't say anything. I looked at the camera like, what the fuck is going on here? And they took my picture and I got up and left. But I mean, as far as the Easter Bunny goes, the best memory was probably being duped into believing he was real and that he dropped off these like gargantuan baskets of goodies. I mean, that's probably the best memory I think of the Easter Bunny is just the fact that if you woke up on Easter, you could expect that there was going to be a basket and it was going to be loaded with all kinds of goodies.
You know what's funny about that though? Is it sounds like your worst memory of the Easter Bunny is at 5 years old having to sit on this giant bunny's lap.
Yeah, probably. It's about the same, right?
Right?
So the best and worst memory is about the same.
That's all I could hear was like, wait a minute. Sitting on his lap, just the torture it sounded like. I'm like, but that's what's interesting, right?
Mhm.
Most kids are like, absolutely, I'm going to sit on Santa's lap and I'm going to tell him what I want for Christmas because I've been a good kid or I've been a good girl.
Yeah.
Right? You know, whereas the Easter Bunny, it's like it's a giant animal and it wants you to sit
He
on its
doesn't
lap.
talk. It's the creepiest thing ever. You sit there and you look at this thing and he's not even talking. So you're just like, what am I supposed to do with this? Because my kid, when he was little, we took him, I think it was his like second or third birthday, and he was mortified. I mean, he was that kid that you saw in the mall screaming at the top of his lungs, like, get me away from this creepy ass bunny. It was just, I was like, all right, I don't blame you, dude. Like, it's weird. I get it.
The last time I saw the Easter Bunny?
When you were in the mall the other day?
No.
Oh, he's there. Trust me.
In a porn parody. Yeah, it was called Pecker Rabbit. And he was dressed like the Easter Bunny, and older women would sit on his lap. I'm just saying.
He's trying to fertilize his eggs, you know what I mean?
Right, prepping for Easter. I'm just saying. I can get down with that. I mean,
you know, the eggs have been used as a fertility symbol, so I mean, it kind of works.
Right, and rabbits too, because you know they talk about screwing like rabbits.
Yeah,
you know, screwing like yeah. So,
God,
how were you raised about Easter? Like they're the Easter Bunny. The Easter Bunny.
I was raised that. So the way I was raised about the Easter Bunny was that if you're a good kid, kind of like it was saying, you know, because I have German lineage, that if you were a good kid, the Easter Bunny would reward you and bring you a basket full of goodies and cheer or whatever, right? And so I would always try to be on my best behavior because my birthday is March 20th and Easter's right around the corner. So it was like, if I'm good, I'll get good stuff for my birthday. And then following, I'd get really good stuff for Easter too. So for me, the Easter Bunny had this kind of like mystique of good behavior equals good gifts. That's realistically what it boils down to for me.
See, and then like for us growing up, it really wasn't a thing. Like it wasn't naughty or nice list. It wasn't like you'll just go to sleep and you get up and there's some baskets from the Easter Bunny.
So it just showed up. There was like no rhyme or reason. You were just like, hey, here's a basket. The Easter Bunny was here.
It's Easter. That's what it does, right? So okay, cool. No rhyme, no reason, no nothing, right? You know, our bigger, you know, we Easter for us was less about the bunny, right? Right. I don't want to deep dive into that whole thing, but it was more about family and fellowship and less about the bunny.
Yeah, more religious based, right?
Right. The bunny was just more of a perk for us growing up.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the whole thing about the Easter Bunny is to get kids involved somehow with this holiday.
I mean, yeah, and you know, but before we chase the rabbit down the rabbit hole here, okay, Alice?
Listen, let me take the blue pill, all right?
Listen, Linda.
Not the Viagra one, but just the other one.
I thought it was the red pill.
I don't know. Maybe it is the red pill.
It is the red pill because the blue pill.
I would take the blue pill because
the Matrix got it all wrong. They should have. You should have took the blue pill, and you know Neo would have woken up with a heart on. I'm just saying.
He would have had a lot better time.
Right? Instead, he went down the rabbit hole. That's what
Right.
he gets. All right. So, see, Neo never colored Easter eggs. That's his problem.
That is his problem.
I
Deprive
colored
Neo.
Easter eggs, right? And that was actually a really fun time a lot of times. Was
So
the
did you
coloring
guys
Easter
do-
eggs.
Did you hard boil them first?
Yes, you hard boiled the eggs and then
Oh,
Um,
see, that would
see,
be a fun
sometimes-
joke because to not hard boil them, and then when kids go to crack them open, they would just get yolk.
see that's the thing is like kids, if we cracked them open, it's because we threw them at something.
Right.
Right. So, but see, this is the funny thing is like, so we would do the eggs, right? We would color them, all this stuff. They would draw on them, yada yada, and then they would spread them out, and everybody would go hunt Easter eggs, right? Well, my pappy, this was like his time to shine, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if you're a kid that just found the $10 golden egg, right? You're still picking a boiled egg up, whether you want to or not, because that man with the cane that's missing some fingers is going to pay you $1 for a boiled egg,
Really?
right? So you were going.
Your
Didn't matter.
grandfather would give you $1 for a boiled egg that you found.
Pappy would pay every kid at church, outside of the church, after we did the egg hunt, $1 for a boiled egg. Every kid.
What if it wasn't boiled?
No, it had to be a boiled egg. He would pay $1 for a boiled egg.
It
So
was like a rotten egg.
every single kid made sure to get a boiled egg because they were going to him after they were done hunting, and they were selling that boiled egg for $1. He
'Cause
would
I remember
peel-
growing up, there was a lot of robin eggs around this time, and I would fucking steal those out of trees. But that's
buddy, he would peel those boiled eggs, salt them right there, and just go to town and eat on boiled eggs for the next 3 or 4 days.
Mm.
Right? But
so
think about it.
basically,
Think
don't
about
follow
this.
your grandfather around the week prior or the week after because he would just smell like sulfur the rest of the time.
Oh, you could bottle that, right? And then that could be some chemical warfare
I
right there.
feel bad for your grandma, man.
That's some chemical warfare right there, brother. But listen at this. Here's my thought on that, right?
Mm.
So you know how eggs are costing you $4 to $5 a dozen in some places now? Some
Mhm.
places more, right?
Mhm.
Think about it. All the eggs we boiled and painted and then literally just threw away. Billions of eggs over the years.
Yeah, because if you crack those open, sometimes the dye would like soak through and it would be on that egg. I was like, I'm not gonna eat that.
Well, even
Like, it's
that,
just
people,
food coloring. You're fine. Like, nope, not eating that. I don't
Even
care
that,
what you
like-
say. It looks weird.
most kids don't want a boiled egg, right? And
Right.
most adults don't even care for boiled eggs.
Right.
So 90% of your Easter eggs that were boiled just got thrown away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about billions of eggs that were just wasted. And now
I can just
everybody,
hear the
now
Ethiopian
everybody's-
kids screaming at us right
Right
now. Like,
now everybody is bitching and moaning because they got to pay, $3, $4, $5, $6 for a dozen eggs, and I'm just sitting here laughing, thinking, man,
so basically, what you're saying is we have the Easter Bunny to blame for the egg epidemic that we've got.
according to lore, the Easter Bunny lays his own eggs.
Which is the weirdest thing to me because, again, we're trying to tell kids that when a Easter Bunny poops, it's eggs filled with goodies.
It's
and
not the
they're
Easter
not-
Bunny pooping.
Whatever.
If you're
That's
a
what-
bad kid, the Easter Bunny poops in your basket, i.e., the black raisins.
Yuck. I never heard
Right?
of that one.
Yes,
That's
i.e., the
weird.
black raisins. Right? That's the reason that you would wake
You
up.
got
with
some
raisins.
craisins for some reason?
Yes, exactly. Right. My opinion, my theory is the Easter Bunny kicks the rooster out of the hen house for about a week prior to Easter.
So
to get things going.
were right on this very
Right.
crazy bunny.
So he's getting things going there. He's kicking the rooster out of the hen house about a week prior, and he's like, "All right, ladies, you're not producing fast enough. We're gonna kick this into the bunny gear here."
So,
I'm just saying.
like,
That's
growing up, do you remember cartoons that were like Bugs Bunny and stuff like that? And they would
Yeah.
always do like these specials.
Mhm.
Bugs Bunny's a hare.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not a bunny. He's not a rabbit. Because like Easter Bunny is a rabbit. It's not a hare.
But Elmer Fudd says, he's always asking which way he went.
You wascally wabbit.
Where's that wascally wabbit?
Yeah, he does. I think it's just because he's an idiot. He doesn't know that it's a hare.
I mean, it's true. I mean, if you really think about it, like the long ears, the exceptional height, because hares are generally taller than rabbits. The ears stand up more, whereas rabbits' ears tend to kind of flop a little more.
Oh, yeah.
And then the
They're fatter and a little shorter, and they
right.
burrow under things, whereas hares don't burrow under stuff.
And the jackrabbit is essentially part of the hare family.
Yeah.
So
he's like he's like the masturbating bunny.
Well, yep, pretty much.
That's why they call him the jackrabbit.
He's a jack of all trades.
He's a jack off rabbit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I gotta hear your. So I'm interested to hear your opinion on parents every year and the whole bunny thing, the Easter bunny existing. Like, what's your opinion on the Easter bunny as a parent?
So for me, I struggle because I know it's fucking fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm essentially lying to my kid and trying to convince him that some gargantuan Easter bunny exists that's going to either deliver him raisins, poop, or eggs that are filled with goodies. That's not going to be like a rabbit embryo in an egg, but it's chocolate.
You're like, raisins?
You know what I mean? So it's like...
you go raisins, and then you're like, poop. Or eggs.
Well, yeah, because you have to explain that to a kid, like, oh, if you don't fucking behave, you're gonna get raisins, and they're like, I don't want raisins. Why not just be grapes? Who wants wrinkly grapes? Nobody wants wrinkly grapes unless you're like a 9-year-old man and you're trying to eat your Ovaltine with your whatever.
Just be honest. Just be honest and be like, hey, look here, man. You either good and you get eggs and candy, or you're bad, and this rabbit is going to shit in a basket and give it to you.
Yeah, well, shit in your hat and wear it too. So, I mean, that's literally, I think I struggle because I think I figured out pretty early on that the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and all the Tooth Fairy and all that was all fake. But my kid, he's almost 10. And so part of me is like, are you a fucking idiot? Like, you should be smart enough to know that this is fake already. Or are you just doing it because you are smart enough and you're just trying to dupe me and your mother into believing that you believe the Easter Bunny so you can get more shit?
See, and here's the funny part is like we've talked about this and you've given me your spiel on how it's commercialized and it's bullshit. And then I had the esteemed privilege of watching you for 30 to 40 minutes build this nice, beautiful. I mean, you may have hated it, but you decorated it and did it so wonderfully that any mother would have been proud.
Bro, I don't half-ass anything.
I know. You damned it up, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just saying, any mother would have been proud to have claimed the fact she did this basket for her child. Right? Yeah. It almost brought a tear to my eye. But all I could think about while I saw you build this basket was I was like, this fucking hypocrite. like you know what? This guy, he's talking all this shit about the commercialization of the Easter Bunny, and I am watching him take this bougie candy and put it into these eggs and do all this stuff and build this basket for his son who's 10, and I'm like,
you didn't even see the half of it last year. I actually went and got him gifts and wrapped those gifts and put them in the basket. But now that I know he's older, I'm like, I'm not going to that extent. I'm just going to give him candy, and I'll probably go get him some like cards that'll give him like PlayStation money or whatever. You know what I mean? But
what was your response to me when I said, "Then why are you doing this?"
I don't even remember.
You said, "I'm not going to be the parent that ends it."
Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right.
See, and that right there, for me, when you're single parents, right? That to me is how this is perpetuated essentially, because neither of you want to be the parent that ends that, right?
Well, yeah, and I've always been the parent. Like, I remember I was the parent that I got my kid to do his first step. I was the parent that got him to do his first rock climb. I was the parent that got him to go in the creek first. I was the parent. Like, I've had a lot of firsts that she hasn't gotten with him, which is great. She's had an abundance more firsts with him because she's the custodial parent. But I love this competitive nature between us in a way where I'm not going to be the one that ruins that holiday.
Right.
And damned it, if I got to do these silly damn things for these holidays just to perpetuate it, I will. I will do it until the day that my son says, you know what, Dad, I really don't believe in this shit. Like, thank God.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Is if I was your son, I would believe in these things till you died. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because I'd be that sucker that would be like, "Oh, you believe? All right, cool, great, yeah, like I'm just gonna keep on doing it."
And then I see you at like 80 years old, finally being like, you're on your deathbed, and you're like, you know what? Screw this. I just can't do this anymore.
Like, I know you don't believe in this shit. You don't even do it for your own kids.
All of this shit's fake, and then it's finally like, you know what, Dad? You're right. I don't believe in any of it. It was.
I haven't believed in it since I was 7. Like, you son of a bitch.
Right, but this is what's funny, right? So I haven't had a thing for the Easter Bunny belief since I was probably 9 or 10 when I shot my first rabbit. Right, so we used to do rabbit hunting all the time. Rabbit,
right? You're a savage.
We used to hunt rabbit all the time, and then I would eat it. Fried rabbit is the greatest thing on the planet.
Rabbit is delicious. I'm not gonna lie.
Fried rabbit is the greatest thing.
That's why they give it to everybody for sear school. It's because they're delicious.
Oh, they are. When it's cooked,
they got good. It's like duck, because they got a good balance of like lean meat with fat.
Right. Well, it's so good, right? So that's
and they're like
my
natural grazers. So I mean, it's healthy. It's literally quote unquote farm raised.
Well, I can remember cleaning these rabbits with my pappy, and we're literally sitting down by the creek, and we're gutting
bunny ears on your head.
We're gutting them and we're cleaning them, right, and skinning them.
Put the bunny ears on your head.
And no, we
Don't
actually I didn't put the bunny ears on my head because we actually had the whole fur laying out drying, so we didn't cut the ears off. Okay, so
got it out there. I would put the bunny head on my head, and then wore it like a bonnet.
You haven't even shot a bunny, so hush. You wouldn't do this.
I've shot in squirrels, and I've shot
squirrels
in other
are
things.
Not bunnies.
I've shot in turtles, and I've killed frogs, and
you're still not listing a fuzzy little bunny that people find.
I would kill it if I could kill the ones that are in my front yard. When I see them, I would. But by the time I go get my gun, they're already gone.
So, anyways, back to my story because we're
gonna have a bunny. We're gonna have a bunny hat.
You're being rude. I'm talking.
Sorry. Oh, look, I've had like 5 bourbons by now.
Hey, stop it.
Stop. See?
So, like I said, we're skinning the rabbit, right? And then the next thing is like, I remember.
Is that a euphemism for masturbating? Just
no,
sorry. No, I'm just. No. Okay. Because skinning a rabbit just sounds like a euphemism for masturbating.
No, that's like skinning the cat. Okay. So.
I thought that's like having sex.
No, skinning the cat is like you're doing like this weird, crazy thing on your swing set. It's weird. But, anyways. So we skin the rabbit, right? And as we're talking, like, I literally look at my pappy and I remember telling him, I'm like, well, there went the Easter bunny. And he just kind of chuckled. Like, it took him by surprise. Like, who do you mean? I'm like, well, there went the Easter bunny. I'm like, I just killed rabbits. So the Easter bunny's gone. And he's like, I hear him. He's like, thank God.
So, in your how old are you for this?
9 or 10.
So you were 9 or 10 years old and you thought you already killed the Easter bunny.
Oh, no, like, I didn't think I killed the Easter bunny. I just knew when I shot the rabbits that was it. Whether the Easter bunny was real or not, didn't matter at that point. He was no longer in existence for me because I just killed rabbits.
Interesting. So what happens if, like, I wonder if, like, other kids that see roadkill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, that's the Easter bunny. Or if they're just like, oh, that's just a dead bunny. Like, that's not the Easter bunny.
Usually when you see roadkill, it's been run over 500 times. So most of the time it just looks like mash.
Well, I mean, it's fresh. Like, when it's fresh, it's usually like you can distinguish what it is. Because after a while, obviously, it's just ground meat on the ground, which is ironic. Ground meat. But at some point you would think kids would become wise to it, and whether it's through the kids in the school that are like chastising, like you still believe in the Easter Bunny, you're a fucking idiot, or like their parents finally come clean and are like, look, we've been lying to you for like 20 years. The Easter Bunny is not real. Hopefully it's not 20 years, because if you believe in the Easter Bunny 20 years old, and you should be admitted to a mental institute. But I remember thinking Easter and it correlating to, like, you remember American Gladiators?
Yeah.
Do you remember that show?
Yes.
I just think of that and kids, and they're just trying to. The biggest one dominates the smaller ones and takes everything, and they're just mowing over these small kids that steal all the eggs, right?
Yes.
And I just think of that when I think back to my childhood, because I had some cousins that were fucking big dudes.
They're ruthless.
Yeah, and they were like, "We're gonna find." As soon as I was like, "I found one," and the next thing I know, I was like, "Blam!" It was like Terry Tate, office linebacker, and I'm like laying on the ground wondering how the hell I got there, and my egg is gone, and my cousins are like running off somewhere else, and I'm like, "What the?"
So you totally got Ric Flaired, right?
Yes, it was like being Ric Flaired or Terry Tate linebacker or
they still
Clowney. You ever watch back in the? You ever watch back? Yeah, Steve Austin's 316. Yeah, or like back in the day when South Carolina played Michigan in the playoffs, and it was Jadeveon Clowney, and he took out the quarterback.
Yep.
That is what it was like when I was a kid. If you weren't the big kid, you were getting Jadeveon Clowney'd. We will make that a thing.
So you were getting clowned by the Clowney.
Getting clowned by somebody. If you weren't the big kid, sorry.
But I will say, I also saw watching
as on the microphone because I've had so much now.
I also saw as an adult the littlest kid on the.
Yeah, if you're wiry, like the Replacements. You remember the Replacements and the guy? I'm wiry.
I absolutely watched this kid that couldn't have been more than 5 take his plastic bucket full of eggs and just brain this 8-year-old, just like whack, 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 whack it, whack, whack, whack. Beat him to the ground and then stood over him, just like, I dare you to move.
Yeah. Well,
in my mind, I heard him like look at him and looking down at him, like, well, now, bitch, these are my eggs.
It's kind of interesting to me because parents, and me and you are in this conversation because we waste countless dollars and money and time perpetuating this mythical beast that's supposed to coincide with the fact that Easter is about a real person, which I don't understand, right? How does a bunny relate to a man? And why don't we parade around carrying a large cross instead of carrying in these Macy's Days parade, you have a big bunny and fucking Snoopy and all these other crazy things. I'm like, what? Like this is totally off base from what it was originated from. It's weird to me.
So it's not off base from what it originated, because as Professor Galahad even stated, this Easter Bunny thing has been perpetuated all the way back to the 1700s.
Well, probably even earlier than that, but yeah.
Right, but that's the big time frame of it migrating to America, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been perpetuated before that, obviously, but it's been established in America since then.
I would have thought that the only reason why it's still going is because of capitalism, right?
So it's a tradition, right? That is spread across the U.S.
We can say it's a tradition. That's what everyone loves to say when they were trying to make some money.
What I'm saying, yes, but what I'm getting at is like it's something that has spread across the United States before capitalism really got a hold of it, right?
Spreads across the United States.
Just like anything.
Your ex's legs.
Well, yeah, There's all kinds of songs about that, or there's actually one that lists all kinds of stuff for that. But anyways, you're talking, right? You're talking it's spread across the U.S., and we're talking all kinds of stores, candies, all this other stuff that gets involved with it, right? To where it becomes this is a money grab every year. Just like Valentine's Day, just like these other things. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't going to go down a rabbit hole because we will rabbit hole ourselves right here and spiral down on holidays. But, I mean, you can talk about all kinds of different holidays and what would you call it? The corporatization? The corporatization?
No, that's not a word.
Well, I know it's not a word. I'm coming up with my own word here. What would you call it?
You're Ryanizing these things. Corporatizing?
Corporatizing. There we go. Corporatizing. I'm Ryanizing these words, okay? Yeah. These are my Ryanized words.
These are Ryanisms?
Yes, they're Ryanisms. So
I got it.
We corporatized. Yeah. But essentially that's what it is. It's a money grab.
Well, yeah, so is any other fucking Hallmark holiday in the goddamn America.
I mean, yeah. But it's really what it boils down to is the holidays are what they make.
We got the next holiday that's coming up. Do you know what the next one is?
The next actual holiday?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Memorial Day?
That is, because that's May, right?
Yeah.
That's actually a good one. But the one after that, in June, do you know what that one is?
Father's Day.
Yeah. So yeah. I think Mother's Day and Father's Day will have...
back up. Sorry. Mother's Day is before Memorial Day.
I know it is, but we skipped it, but that's fine.
We're not skipping that because Mother's Day is the key holiday of the year.
No, it's not. So this is we can have an episode on this. I think Memorial Day is a great holiday.
I agree.
Mother's Day and Father's Day are Hallmark holidays, which to me is for the absentee mother or the absentee father. So they can feel like they have significance for being that mother or father.
And I would say to you that you've had a bad taste. Now, let me finish. You've had a bad taste in order to establish that as the response. Because for me, Mother's Day was about I'm going to the greenhouse. Because it's perfect time to go to the greenhouse. I'm getting flowers, I'm getting vegetables, I'm getting these things that Mom can plant and enjoy.
So, when do you think the right age is to break it to kids that it's all a lie, that the Easter Bunny is even a thing?
Honestly, that all depends on the parent. And I mean, I guess it really boils down to, do you want to be the parent that breaks it? Do you not want to be the parent that breaks it? Do you want to be the hypocrite? Do you not want to be the hypocrite? Like,
that's a lot of factors.
Right? I mean, it's that simple. Really.
It's not simple. I mean, you list that many factors, it's not simple at that point.
I listed 2 factors. Do you want to be the parent that breaks it or not? Or do you want to be the hypocrite?
That's a lot of factors.
That's 2 key important factors, I guess, for people. I mean, essentially, Easter, the way I was raised, the Easter Bunny wasn't such a big thing that, like, I just couldn't get over it.
So, luckily, in your upbringing, your beliefs were centered on the holiday itself and not so much the... What is that? A moniker? Is that a moniker? What is the word for that? Like a mascot. It wasn't so much on the mascot.
The symbolism.
Symbolism. So you have the mascot, symbolism, whatever the word is that correlates to that. But your upbringing was more on the actual religious fact of Easter and not so much on the Easter Bunny itself. Whereas mine was more based on the Easter Bunny and not so much the religious factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting twist there. I like that.
So
I like your version better because, like, you didn't have to worry about, like, consequences of your actions, and you would still have some sort of Easter. Doesn't matter whether gifts were involved or not. Easter would still happen, and the Easter Bunny would still kind of present himself one way or another.
And I will say this. And this is bringing it out of not so much comical, right? And we're usually pretty comical here. I will say this, right? Easter was one of those things that, surprisingly, for a family that didn't have a lot at times, I still had an Easter basket every year. Even at 9 or 10 years old, when I killed the rabbits, and I'm like, Easter Bunny's not real. Right? When that happened, I still got an Easter basket until, I hit my teenage years, and it's like, okay, you're just too old for an Easter basket. Right?
Oh, wait a minute. So teenage years is apparently the cutoff for your family.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, at that point, it's like, you're not a kid anymore. You're a teenager.
So that circles back to the right age to break it to the kids. It's just a lie, right? So at a teenage year, then it's like, you should be smart enough to know this is a fucking lie. Like you had a history class or two to know, like, this is not real.
I will say Christmas, if we're, as far as that goes, Santa Claus was not something that was ever broke.
What?
That was not something ever broke. And in my opinion, that is something you as a parent never break. You let the kid figure it out or they don't, period. That's not your right to break.
Interesting.
That's just my opinion on that one, because it's not the Easter Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much deeper belief and a much deeper thing than the Easter Bunny. I shot a rabbit. Easter Bunny's gone, okay?
So
it ain't like I can go hunt elves and then kill one of Santa's helpers and be like, well, Santa ain't going to see me no more.
I don't know. Have you seen some people that are like under 4 feet tall? They might be elves.
Let me put it in this perspective, right? Okay. I was in Hawaii. I had a Santa costume because I had dressed up for a bunch of unit holiday Santa parties and stuff. And I would ride in on my Harley and haul a big sack of toys and give it out at the parties for everybody's kids, right? Right? Let me put it in this perspective, right? My neighbors in Hawaii knew I did this. On a cul-de-sac of 10 houses, I went in 4 of those houses and put Christmas presents under their trees. And they made sure their kids upstairs heard and could peek over the banister to watch Santa Claus put presents under the tree.
Interesting.
So whether or not Santa is real, whether or not Santa is real,
that's another episode.
I know, but I'm saying whether or not Santa is real, you try telling that 5-year-old that was not Santa that just walked into that house or popped into that house and put presents under that tree.
I would love to say that would be that asshole parent that would say, I would love to say that would be that asshole parent that would say, like, you're a fucking fallacy. But I know, like, how I am as a parent. I would look at my kid and be like, oh my God, Santa just came and visited us. Oh my God, can you believe it? Like, that's the greatest thing ever.
What I'm getting at is, like, let's say you're married, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a fucking far reach.
Tell you. Now, hang on. Let's say your wife hang on, stop. And say your wife didn't tell you she was doing this, and you're fast asleep, so you don't know shit about it. But she does. Stop. So she knows about it, and she lets me in the house to put the presents under the tree, and the kids see over the banister. Presents are under, and then I'm back out the door like nothing ever happened. You get up in the morning, and you're like, yeah, that's bullshit. I don't care what you tell that kid is not going to believe a word out of your mouth because they saw with their own eyes Santa put presents under the tree.
Now, knowing who I am, and I hear some random person in my house, I'm probably waking up, and you're going to have a rude awakening, and I'm going to have the police showing up in my house.
I walk around your house all the time, butt naked in the middle of the night.
I hear you, dumbass. I hear you.
Yeah, Oh, no, you don't.
I do.
You don't hear me outside of your bedroom window.
I hear it. I hear you out there.
I'm chasing rabbits down a hole.
True, that's what you're doing.
Right?
What is your favorite Easter candy?
Ooh, favorite Easter candy growing up was like the Starburst style jelly beans.
What?
Specifically the red ones. I didn't care for any of the other ones.
Made jelly beans?
Starburst made jelly beans as I got old.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes. And it's specifically, they didn't hear till How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm old enough to not be able to be your son.
And how old are you? We're going to establish this in this episode. How old are you?
I'm 35 and Dan is 43.
Why you gotta say it like that? Like I was gonna say, yeah, I'm 43.
Oh, no, I'm going to burst the bubble for you.
You fucking bubble.
You bring up the topic, I'm going to burst the
I
bubble.
kick you in the balls.
So, that's fine.
All right, so go ahead with your favorite Easter candy.
So, favorite Easter candy was the red jelly beans, right?
Red? Why?
Because I like those flavors.
What flavors are those? Red jelly beans.
Strawberry, pomegranate, cherry, watermelon was kind of okay, but strawberry, cherry, pomegranate, and fruit punch were my favorites.
Okay.
Watermelon was the easy. Watermelon was the easy red to give away. So
yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
And then,
what is your worst Easter candy?
Worst Easter candy? Almond Joys were at the top of the list, but obviously as you get older, your taste buds change as you get older, right?
I can't believe you say Almond Joys.
As a kid, for some reason, like, oh no, I wouldn't even try it. There wasn't even an option. Like, I wouldn't even taste it. So worst candy for Easter.
I think the worst candy is Peeps. And I love marshmallows, right? I love marshmallows. I
liked Peeps till they got crazy on their flavors.
Oh, they're so bad. They're so loaded with sugar on the outside. It's like sandpaper for your mouth. I don't like.
Now they got Crock Peeps where they have.
I don't like Peeps. I'm just saying. I don't like Peeps. They're literally like sugar sandpaper. That is what I think of when I think of Peeps.
Yeah, but that's because you're old now. So anything.
Dude, I got the same ones for my kid, and they look the exact same. And I'm like, God, he's not gonna eat this shit.
Just because they look the same doesn't mean they taste.
He's gonna look at it and be like, I don't like these. I'm like, good on you, buddy. I'll throw them in the fire. And we can watch them expand and blow up.
You know what? You know what we need to do for your son for Easter?
Let him go hunt a rabbit?
Yes.
I'll give him the gun. I got a 22. We can have that happen.
I know you got a 22.
Yeah, I bought it off
you. Have a 22, and it's black. I wasn't even going to say that.
Yeah, I bought it off you.
It's black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just saying. And you have a shotgun,
I
which
have 222s, actually. But anyway, my favorite Easter candy, you know what my favorite Easter candy is?
It's like some bougie-ass chocolate.
It is kind of.
Oh, no, it's not kind of. It's bougie.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not even going to mention it because it's so bougie.
No, let's hear it.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's like, I'm not gonna lie. He gave me one. I peeled the aluminum foil and took a bite out of this thing, and I don't even know how to explain it to you folks. We're talking like this almond crusted crunch of swirled milk chocolate richness, and it's like I ate this thing and like I almost orgasmed while eating this pizza.
All right, it's a Ferrero Rocher crunch egg. Because they make like those little, they look like truffle candies, right? With like the fancy gold wrapper, and like it looks like it's in a cupcake. But for Easter, they do a thing where they wrap them and they look like eggs, and they're exactly the same candy, and it is absolutely delicious. It is.
It's like something straight out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Probably better because if I were to do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I would probably say like Reese's Cups would be Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Not if you go off the movies, is what I'm getting at. Because
I would say
Willy Wonka's was
Kinder Chocolate and Nutella chocolate.
Willy Wonka in the movies was like.
But Ferrero Rocher is a fine hazelnut chocolate, and it is the epicenter of deliciousness when it comes.
It was the epicenter of my orgasm.
With new parents that have kids, what is our word of advice when it comes to the Easter Bunny? What do you think is the best advice that we can give new parents having kids in today's society?
I mean, so for my opinion, it really boils down to Are you going to play the game? If you're going to play the game, then you do you buy the baskets, you do the things, right? It doesn't mean you're necessarily you buy the basket, you buy the candy,
No, you got to elaborate, man. You got to elaborate.
I'm elaborating here, okay? But what I'm getting at is like, if you're going to do it, then just do it until either you determine your kid needs to know, but ultimately what it boils down to is you're going to keep doing these things until your kid tells you they don't believe in it anymore. No, it wasn't. They kept buying me baskets till I was 13. They bought my brother baskets till he was 13. So about the teenage time, and then at that point, it just kind of fell off because now you're a teenager. And once you hit that teenage year, like...
You should know better.
Well, no, it's not you should know better. At that teenage year, you were just kind of like, I'm my friends don't do that anymore. I don't want to do that.
And I'll tell you what. Despite all that, we have to end this. So here we are. Hey, thanks for listening. You can follow us on Instagram. Look us up on Snapchat. Look us up on Spotify. Look us up on Apple Podcasts. And I'll tell you what. If you want to see us and you want to vote on things, look us up on Instagram because that's where it's at. We'll see you next time. Thanks.